you're streaming it from there.
I think they're going to tell us to move, you know.
They do them a move.
Yeah, find it easier to watch. Yeah. It'll be good. Have you met my dad? So lovely. So I know it's one of those things where they'll just chat.
No. No. That's why I'm
So
not
you
shooting
don't work
from back there.
Hey, 1, 2.
I just had a baby. I do work with
Nice one, mate. 1 second, my hands are
Unless
forward.
he's got the
Second.
box back there.
Yeah, no, 7 months. I know it's not that long ago. I mean, I haven't slept in 7 months. It feels like just yesterday.
Nice one, mate. Appreciate that.
Congratulations. Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice. She's in a hotel across the street with my mum. It's definitely a family venture. So I'll be swapping out for her. But after the place, I'll give you back. We had a confused face.
Making a call between them.
Oh, I can move if you want to be right here. Like I will.
Perfect. Oh, you don't have to move.
Oh, well, I'm up there anyway, so no. You set yourself up. That's all.
Right, which side do you reckon you should do this?
Probably this side, because I think I'll probably go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Actually, have more stuff.
You're going to be much
Rock up to an airport. Optimistic seating.
in terms of
Yes.
Basically, yeah.
What's that?
Just asking what it's about. It's like just UFC.
you know what, it might be better if you
Come on, it's Michael Bisping. Like, something's going to get said. As in, like, something rude or...
Yeah, because the
He's gonna
light's
have a
terrible
pop with
back there.
someone. Maybe even Simon. Like, I'm just saying, but he'll have a pop with someone. Be Simon.
So I'm going to have to use it.
Sandu broadcast, yeah, the whole
All of India, mate.
India, billion people on the stream.
That's right.
Where is Jinder? No, mate, no, ask. I'm here,
Hey.
Oh, that's
Hey,
a
hey.
pixel.
2, 2.
Oh, no, it's mine.
4.
It's my Surface Pro 4. Thank you very much.
Catch 4.
They're pretty durable, but they're also pretty shit at the same time.
You know, I was thinking of getting the Surface Book too. How's your Surface?
Book is, the screen is, I don't know about Surface Book 2, the Surface Book
1, 2,
itself.
3, 4.
It's a good machine, it's very, very powerful, like video rendering is perfect, but just small things like the screen gets coloured in yellow when it overheats.
We're going to stay in that
Random stuff that goes wrong.
Yeah, I won't cross the shot. If anything ends up in the way, just let me know.
Yeah, no worries.
Hey, 1, 2. Check. 1, 3.
I'm just going to
Yeah, exactly.
Because we're shooting for the gym itself, we have to make sure it's dead center.
Maybe I can
Do you have one more?
to get a different angle.
Yeah. That's gonna...
Yeah, one
it's
more.
gonna be in it.
Need one more. Sorry.
And then I might test.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Cool for me to set it up here.
Yeah, I need to be dead center, so it doesn't.
You and me laugh at the same thing.
Question number one from the press. Can we get in through? If an engine had definitely what's a fucking relevant question that one? Looking back on it, yeah. Mr. whatever his face is.
She's gonna carry us.
Yeah, we're gonna carry it through. So you're going to this first.
Ironic.
I'm sitting next to Adam.
Exactly how you want.
Oh wow, this is perfect. Let me turn off my phone.
Yeah, he's gone
My
to
phone's just gonna ring right in the middle of it.
Hey, hey, 1, 2. So I can come down a little bit on level, just a tad. 1, 2. Down a bit, 1, 2.
Start with a shot. It's like a nervous, like group props. It's like Steelers. No, I call him the Iceman.
Hey, hey. 1, 2. Check, check. 1, 2. One, two.
No, I'm fine.
Yeah, I You look really gassed when you walked in there. Shit, don't want to mess with that. Don't want to mess with it.
No, Jim's camera's there. I'll just fucking stand if that's the case. Just fucking plop your camera in front of mine. Fucking.
What happened? Want to jump in here with you guys? My lens is too shit to actually go back.
We're gonna have to pan.
We're going to be on top of these guys.
Some waste man shit.
I need that cheese. They came with no food. I
Understand?
didn't even know what that was until I bought it. You see, it was too hot over the gap.
No, you're not going to get the sound and the lighting's pan.
Bring a camera. Point the fucking camera. And then send it.
Yes, sir.
Shot's still going to be better than this. He's yellow. He's yellow.
He already told him.
What's happening? How you doing, mate? You right, yeah?
Get ready to be gone.
Michael Bisping gets him boxed out. Like, for instance, the Godfather. No, that's new.
Right, yeah?
Yeah, really good.
How you doing, man?
How's this, London? Where's legs? Where's legs for us, huh?
I got told you that.
To be honest, I'm just...
I got told this. I don't.
Conference there, I just interviewed Joe Joyce. So he was in Vegas at the same time. So we'll see.
Yeah, because Joy does he fight on David Hayes'
Yeah, he signed
card
Yeah.
back in, was it December? No, November.
Yeah, and he just fought recently in February as well.
Yeah, because he fought on the same card as Michael Venom Page, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't normally cover boxing, but I went to cover that one because Michael was fighting. Yeah. I live in. No. Everyone's getting confused. So I'm not moving to Toronto until October.
Right.
So I was there for 3 months just to complete my kind of immigration, get all that stuff sorted. Paperwork's all done now. And it's just because the fact that we're renting out in the misses, the agreement's until October,
Right.
so we're financially tied into that for the time being. So we're going to stick around till October and then make the permanent move to Toronto. Yeah, she's Canadian. That's how we got all the paperwork sorted out.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I'm going to be here around for another 6 months or so before I make the move.
Listen, let's have a proper catch up.
Yeah, man, for sure. I'm in London all the time anyway. I live here, right? So
How's Monday for you?
next week's brilliant. Any day of the week next week. I'm very flexible. The week after I'm in Chicago, but next week I'm around.
Monday I'm coming into. I've got your number. Monday I'm coming into London. So
Yes, we will meet up for a Nando's or coffee or a beer or whatever you want.
sounds good.
Yeah,
Sounds
yeah.
Well, if I have to rush off from here, it's only because I've got to go back in camp at the farm.
Yeah, 100%, man. 100%. Wicked, brother. Nice one.
Good to see you.
Yeah, likewise. Rob, can you not raise it that much? Can you lower it a little bit? Because it's
I'm
going to get
working
too much
for
rope.
UFC Gym, like, that's what I'm here for.
Safe, bruv. Didn't realise you were working for UFC Gym. Yep, gotta prioritise, isn't it?
You can talk to them about it.
Nah, it's all good. I can move my camera, it's all good.
He was back there and realised that you had to shoot shots. Working for you left.
Yeah.
You can ask me questions. Better not be in front of me. Yeah. Michael, why did you hit me when I was the only fucking press member that came to the premiere? That would be question number one.
So not bad. The audio.
Huh?
The audio's going to be painful.
Yeah, fair feedback.
Michael Bisping press conference, cat filter. Cat filter. You just tweeted out. What do you think about that? That's not.
I know, that's what I was
All right, well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, members of the press. Thank you very much for coming today on what is a super exciting week in general for the UFC, with Fight Night on London on Saturday, but more specifically today, this afternoon, for the launch of the UFC Gyms UK and Ireland. We do welcome you, so thank you for being here. Now, clearly, I'm not going to launch this by myself. We have got a brilliant panel of people here today. They're here to talk to you, explain everything you need to know about the UFC Gym brand, just to get excited, to really give you a good vibe of what this is. The UFC. All right, next up we have the Senior Vice President of International Franchising. Please welcome Tamar El Gindi. We also have one of the directors from TD Lifestyle PLC. Now, this is the company that are going to bring the UFC Gym brand to the UK and Ireland. Please welcome Joe Long. And finally, somebody that doesn't actually even need an introduction. The name speaks for itself. Please welcome to the stage Mike the Count Bisping. This is you.
Okay, okay.
Did you like that intro? That was just for you.
It's all right. Could have done better.
He's harsh. Right, let's get this going. Anton, we're going to come to you first. Could you just explain a little bit about the philosophy of the UFC Gym brand?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everybody. Good to be here. There's really one word that, to me, explains UFC Gym, which is purpose. When you look at fitness around the world, certainly even here, people typically go into a gym, and they do some cardio, they do some weights, and then they check out. And what happens is they work out for 3 or 4 months, and they stop working out. They cancel their membership, and then next January comes around and they enroll again. And so in 2008, we got some pretty incredible powers together. We got the powers of the UFC with the powers of New Evolution Ventures, who oversees multiple fitness concepts around the world. And we really talked about how to change the way fitness is perceived by consumers. And we created UFC Gym. You see, what we did was we took somebody like Mike Bisping, and we said, Mike, what does it take to prepare for a fight? And we learned so much about that. We learned that 12 weeks before his fight, he has to train incredibly hard from a conditioning basis. He has to learn ground game, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, boxing. And more importantly, he put a community around him to support him. So what he did, what that allowed him to do was become the personal best version of himself when he stepped into the octagon on fight night. And that's really how UFC Gym was born. And so what we did is we started in California, and we were able to intersect traditional fitness with the way some of the best athletes in the UFC train to create this, what I would call special operating system. It merges together adults and kids, so it's not just an adult-based concept. Not only can mom and dad train and work out, but mom and dad can bring kids, and they can actually work out and condition as well. And so really, when you take a look at the what it takes to change a lifestyle, what it takes to change your body, what it takes to change your mind and your heart, UFC Gym has all of that.
We just touched on that briefly. Tamar, maybe you can pick it up. What is it that people can expect from the UFC Gym brand?
The UFC Gym in the United Kingdom, in Ireland, will have state-of-the-art facilities in which we'll provide, as Adam said, traditional fitness, functional training, and of course, mixed martial arts. We will have facilities here in the UK that will revolutionize the fitness industry, and we'll do that in a place where the top athletes in the world can work out in our gyms, as well as first-time gym goers, or even a 5-year-old future champion. With this new venture, Michael Bisping has really inspired England, but now he's cultivating the future generation of British champions through the UFC Gym on a healthy lifestyle.
Now, Joe, let's bring you into this a little bit. Why UFC brand gyms? Why should people go to there? Because there is already hundreds of other fitness providers. So what makes this different?
I think Tamar just touched on it, Becky, which when we first started to talk about UFC Gym and UFC Gym coming to the UK with Michael, the one thing what stood out was the family aspect. There's not many gyms in the sector at the moment in the UK which are that family orientated. The first time I went out with Adam, he was good enough to bring myself and the team out with Michael. And I went to a gym and there was a studio full of women 40, 50 plus doing yoga. Then there was kids doing jiu-jitsu, and then the gym was packed with various people doing cardio. And the atmosphere was unbelievable. And things haven't really changed over here a lot, especially within the martial arts sector. I know we talk about MMA, but the traditional martial arts, there's a very big gap, and I think this brand and the team behind it bridges that gap.
Well, Mike, let's bring you into this. You already own a UFC gym yourself in America. Also, we spoke about this family aspect that we really want to get across here today. I believe that your son possibly trains there as well. And sort of how do you see firsthand the experience you've got? How does it involve families?
Well, thank you, Becky, and hello to everybody here. Thanks for being here. When I moved out to California, I met Adam. Obviously, the head offices are quite close to where I live, and started looking into UFC gyms. I went there, and I'll be honest, I was a little skeptical at first. And when I went in there, you know, I was blown away. Of course, as Tamar said, state-of-the-art facilities. Obviously, that's a given. But the classes that they offer, and the energy, the fun, the family environment, it really does offer everything. And when I went in there, I was totally blown away, and I had to be a part of this. So, you know, we put our hands in our pockets and we opened the gym in Costa Mesa. And the more I found out about it, I wanted to bring this to the UK. Of course, we have a loyal UFC fan base here, and everybody likes to work out, everybody wants to get in shape. And for me, I'm passionate about the UFC. of course, you can't fight forever, and you know people probably know my fight career is probably almost done. But I still want to be involved with the brand, and I want to be involved with healthy lifestyles. And UFC Gym was the perfect match to me. Of course, as you said, it is a family environment. My wife trains there, my children train there. It's just a beautiful thing, and here we are today. Thanks for being here.
Now, Adam, if you want to talk to us a little bit, how did the deal come about? So if you tell us a little bit more about that between the UFC Gym and UK and Ireland.
Yeah, we always knew the UK was going to be a very, very important market for us. And UFC soon connected us and Mike, and I think, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. And Mike was like, after touring the facility, after being part of it, I really have to find a way to participate and be involved, and I would love to see if there's an opportunity to bring it out to the UK. So as time went on, Mike and I worked close to his house and tried to find 7 or 8 opportunities, and he very candidly let me know that I was being too slow.
We wasted a lot of time, yeah.
Yeah, that's another way to put it. But we found a club. We found a club for Mike, and Mike's been. I mean, when you look at Mike and you take a look at how he prepares for fights and how he conditions himself, it was just a perfect segue to open up a facility in Costa Mesa, California, which is one of the best fitness markets in the U.S. And that club is doing fantastic, and Mike's a big reason why. So I still remember the call today that I got from Mike, because we were vetting out many candidates to open the UK with, and I think I got a call around 3 a.m. in the morning from Mike when he was out here, and of course,
3 a.m. US time.
US time.
Okay.
US time.
Let's just clarify.
Yes, yes.
It's 11 a.m. I think I finished a jog, or perhaps I was having a smoothie or something else very healthy.
And of course, Mike expects me to be at his beck and call, so I jumped on the call, and he started talking about the partnership group with Joe and team, and heard all about it, and I was blown away. And after spending, 3 or 4 months vetting out the partnership group, I thought, man, this is going to be an incredible venture. It's somebody that we can truly trust the UFC Gym brand with. And so I think not only are we going to find them, take the operations of what UFC Gym is, and make sure that they apply it the right way, but I think they're going to be in position to really, really make a significant impact here in the UK and Ireland.
Yeah, certainly excited about it. Tamer, could you possibly explain more about potential franchising of the UFC Gym brand?
Sure. The UFC Gym is the fastest growing franchise and most exciting franchise, may I say, in the fitness industry. We really provide unbelievable competitive advantage to our partners. And how do we do that? We do that through our marketing, our renowned global reach through the UFC. I think is absolutely unmatched, as well as the expertise of the brand. I say this with no doubt, the best experts in the world are in the UFC Gym through what Adam said, New Evolution Ventures that controls many, many facilities around the world. As well as through the UFC Gym University, which constitutes 2 parts, the Management Institute and the Coaching Institute. We do have the most advanced training and development center in the world that supports our franchisees. So I'm looking to a lot of you guys here, and I know that half of this room is going to be the future UFC Gym franchises here in the UK, I have no doubt.
You heard it. He has no doubt. He has no doubt. Joe, let's bring you into this. So can you tell us anything about the development of this? Where are we at? What stage are we at? Where is the first gym going to be? How many are you going to open? I want to know everything.
Right, okay, so the first one, which is going to open, we don't know yet. However, we can tell you, we're dealing with some great commercial agents, and we're looking at various spots up and down the country. And the program is that we're going to be rolling out 100 plus over the next 10 years. So that's a fair chunky program.
Have you got the social media platform set up? Can these guys follow now?
I believe we're on right now. So we actually launched today. So UFC Gym UK on all the platforms. And I'm sure there's people logging on right now and giving it a share.
Yeah, get your phones out, give them all a follow. Instagram, Twitter. Mike, as well, how is this, the UFC brand, the gym brand launching here in the UK and Ireland, how is this going to enhance, I mean, firstly, the industry, like the fitness industry, and then perhaps more specifically the mixed martial arts industry?
Why do I get all the tough questions? You know, this is like generic answers for them, but now I have to actually think, how is this going to enhance? No, it is for sure. I mean, listen, I spoke of it before. There's a very loyal following in the UK, and of course, health and fitness is a massive part of that. But UFC Gym, I just want to make sure everyone knows this isn't about trying to find the next fighters. If that's part of it, then great. For example, at my gym, as I said, we have a great kids program. We had average Joes training there. I prepared there for my George St. Pierre fight. All right, didn't go so well, but whatever. Forget about that. But, so it just gives you an idea of the crossover that we have. We have professional fighters in there, we have children in there, we have housewives in there, we have fitness models in there. So it really is something for everybody. And I think with the energy that UFC Gym brings, I mean, that's one thing that really struck me. When you go to gym sometimes, you just want to leave. You get in there and you're not feeling it. You walk in here, the music's pumping, everyone's having a good time. And yeah, there you go.
One thing to add to what Mike is saying is, I go back to the word of purpose and empowerment, and what really gets to me is I see moms and kids join. Sometimes some of these kids don't have self-confidence. They walk in or they've been bullied or something's happened in their life where they just don't look at life the way they should. Through the UFC Gym programming, it really builds them back up and instills confidence and instills passion of life. And when you think about kind of UFC Gym stands for, yes, athletes can perform at very high levels in our gyms. We have classes for women. We have these incredible traditional fitness classes for people that just want to stay mainstream. There's so many different ways to loop the community together. UFC Gym is really about a community, and what you can expect is as you're doing a class in London, you're going to be able to see somebody doing a class in Costa Mesa, California. It's that type of a community and that type of a network.
Anybody else like to add anything? We good?
Yeah, the only thing I want to emphasize even further, I think the UFC Gym is probably so unique on its value proposition. It's probably the only gym in the world, like I said, a 5 years old kid can work out together with their mother. And I think traditionally what you see is the mom drop their kid in a facility and then go work out. The UFC Gym is completely different. It's like, you're working out together. We actually have classes, Adam, that incorporate on the weekends the father and the mom working out together. It's truly a unique fitness experience.
So that is a lot of the UFC Gym brand here in the UK of Ireland. Has anybody got any questions? We're going to take some questions from the press. If anyone has anything to add. Yes, sir. What's your name?
Simon.
Hi.
Hi. It's a question probably for Joe. I had the chance to see a UFC Gym in LA where Mike was working out ahead of UFC 199. Facilities were incredible, but the facilities are only as good as the staff that are running those centres. Mixed martial arts is still a growing industry in the UK. Where are you going to find those expert teachers and trainers for those specific skills?
Well, I think Tamer touched on it. The online university, what UFC Gym provide, gives a great base for the staff training. I suppose, Tamer, you can talk on that a little more with the actual level of training which you provide us and we provide our franchisees.
Yeah, we have developed, like I said, some of the most advanced training in the whole fitness industry through the UFC Gym University. We feel extremely confident on the skill level of our mixed martial arts as well as from our coaches. Now, keep in mind that we have gyms in multi-countries around the world. Philippines, Taiwan, Pakistan, India, and we're able to support all of them. It's definitely a challenge, and you said very, very well, no gym, the most important part of a gym is the staff, and we're very aware, Adam and I, about that.
I'll add to it too, because I think your question's a great question. It is definitely different to staff a UFC Gym compared to a regular fitness club, and it's truly important that we stay authentic and true to the disciplines. And so, as an example, Mauricio Tenguia is our head Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor for the entire organization. He's a 638 black belt, and he created the Spider Garden Jiu-Jitsu, and he's responsible for working with Joe and team to roll out Jiu-Jitsu over here. We're going to make sure the head coaches are qualified. They go through a stringent Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu training program, and we make sure that we service our customers correctly. You can find that in every specific discipline. Joe made imports in town as well to make sure from a head coach perspective that we stay truly authentic. And as Mike talked about, this is a gym for everybody. It's not just to become incredibly athletic. It's really to try to change one's way of thinking. And so we think that there's an ability to take a look at the UK itself and really, really internally train and educate and inspire people to work for the brand.
Just to jump on that as well, Adam, the website is now live, and also the careers section is live as well. So we're hoping for quite an influx of people to reach out to us after today.
And by the way, Simon, I think we have very good talent in the UK as well, so we can compete on the world stage in the UFC, and we can compete on the world stage coaching-wise as well, so watch your mouth.
Any other questions at all? Yes?
Yeah. I'm just curious because there was a huge thing in the States with it before. That Brazilian guy you mentioned, there was a big thing in Texas before where a fake black belt was exposed working at a UFC gym.
Yeah.
How are we going to make sure that doesn't happen in the UK?
Yeah, that's a great question, and listen.
Yeah, thanks for that one.
You did tell us that.
Thank you. Listen, that was embarrassing for our brand, and we just happened to have a rogue franchisee that decided to do his own thing, and he hired somebody he didn't vet out with our head instructor, Mauricio Tinguia. And when you don't vet somebody out, issues like that happen. Through compliance and accountability and communication, that stuff will not happen and should never happen. So what Joe and the team will do is they'll have a very strict compliance system to make sure that every instructor, every head coach that represents this brand is properly vetted out through our head coaches across the disciplines. And listen, we're going to grow. We're going to have over 100 gyms here. And I can say that in a very, very confident way. That's a lot of people, that's a lot of team. But we also have some world-class operators to help us support that to make sure the brand experience is absolutely on point and that mistake doesn't happen.
Any other questions at all? Yes, sir.
I read recently that the UFC Gym brand had also announced a pretty similar deal in India where you guys are going to roll out 100 gyms over a 10-year period. Why commit to such a large number of gyms over a long period of time like that? Why not scale it up slowly before you can start to kind of really go out there with many more across the country?
So we feel extremely confident with the groups that we signed to such a large deals like that. I can tell particularly that group in India has unbelievable experience in the fitness industry. They have already done that for another brand. Adam and I spent unbelievable amount of time researching not only the capitalization and the funding of the group, but most importantly, their expertise on the fitness industry. And we feel confident that one group, as the master franchise managing the whole country of India, will do a much better job just having multiple groups that me and Adam needs to manage. So we feel very confident, particularly in India, as well as this group in the UK. It's one of our strongest group with Joe and Michael Bisping. We feel very strong with them.
I'll add to that. We have a moral obligation. We really feel like the experience of UFC Gym and the product and the value proposition that we offer can change people's lives. And when you look at this market, when you look at India, this has the potential to grow in a significant way, but we can, in every trade area that we build.
Just a quick question. Obviously, mixed martial arts is a massive part of the UFC. Would you also be looking to roll out things like boxing classes within the gyms as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Within the UFC gyms, there will be kickboxing classes, cardio kickboxing classes, boxing classes, jiu-jitsu, MMA, of course, and then, of course, as Adam said, traditional fitness classes, daily ultimate training, DUT, yoga, spinning, TRX,
Mike, your favorite Zumba.
Yeah, I am a big Zumba guy, and I will be running Pilates as well, so, come on down.
Yes.
I have a question from the retail perspective, and as Mike's phrased us as regular Joes, I'm a regular Joe, or Johnny, or Jenny. I'm interested in your holistic approach. I think it's great that you're going to bring something like this to the UK. I just wonder how you're going to market it to us regular Joes, because it's quite intimidating when you talk about martial arts and kickboxing and everything else. And I think one of the blocks, if you like, people get intimidated by these big gyms and want to do something discreet.
Sure.
But how would you
I know what you're saying there, and Adam, maybe you can explain a little further, but that is a common misconception that people have. UFC gyms, of course, they have a UFC, authenticity about them, and there's a martial arts driven community. But when you go in there, it's world-class training facilities. So when you walk in there, Joe and all the partners, when they came out to America and we toured all the gyms, they were blown away, and they saw, you know, there's a healthy cross-section of people. As I said, I trained for my last fight in one of them, but that is a very, very small percentage of the people that train there. As I say, pardon me for saying average Joes, average Jills, maybe I should have said, hashtag me too. But, you know, it's a healthy cross-section of people, children, just general people that go to a gym for a workout. The actual hardcore MMA side, whilst it is there, is a small percentage. Is that fair to say, Adam? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, listen, we have to earn the right. And we didn't, when we started this organization, the connotation or the thought process is that you're going to go there to learn how to fight. That's less than, as Mike said, it's less than 2% of the people that are there. We're going to provide you an incredible training experience, the way a UFC athlete trains in many modalities, but you're not going to have a black eye, you're not going to break your nose, nothing like that's going to happen. It's a very safe environment. It's very conditioning based. Very, very conditioning based. And what we do is we have a very strategic strategy to go visit every trade area. And that means getting involved with the cities, that means getting involved with school districts, and really, really giving back to make sure we can educate the entire trade area on what the brand is. And at some point you start creating brand momentum, right? And that's what will happen here as people realize the experience and that it's a family environment. I mean, really, you think about it, UFC Gym is going to be one of the best family gyms around the globe. Right, and it sounds interesting, right? It really is. Yeah, and we have to earn the right to be able to do that in every market that we socialize ourselves in.
I just want to add a fact I think that's very surprising for probably a lot of you guys here, but 80% of all the disease in the world can be prevented by correct training and exercise. And that's really the vision of the UFC Gym. The other thing that probably many of you guys don't think about it, but lack of exercise at least 5 times a week for about 30 minutes is equivalent of smoking a pack of cigarettes every day. We're very aware, Adam and I have been in the fitness industry our entire lives. The UFC Gym is so much more than fighting. It's about really health for the community and preventive medicine. That's really what it is about.
And if I could just add to that as well, as a female, as a female, definitely, who I've never stepped in an oxygen in my life. But I know my sister especially has struggled when she's wanted to go to the gym. She's got kids and she's got nowhere to leave them, so she doesn't go to the gym. So I think that's also another aspect, especially for moms, for anybody that does have kids and goes, oh, what am I going to do with these kids? But you can get them into the exercise during the UFC gyms as well. So I think that is definitely another aspect to it, from a female's point of view.
Yeah, our slogan, Adam, is we all fighters. And what that means on that slogan is, you know, some are winning fights like Michael Bisping on the octagon. Some other people are fighting obesity. Some other people are fighting cancer. And they're in our gyms. We're all fighting this together.
Any other questions? We've got hands going out. Yes, sir, just behind over back there. Yeah, you're looking around, I'm looking at you, yeah.
Can I just ask, in terms of the structure for the UK and Ireland, are you planning to have different sizes or different levels of gyms?
Different sizes, different levels of gyms, that was the question.
Yes, yeah, we are. We've got three different models which are coming to the UK. So we have a boutique style which is called UFC Class, which sits around 3,000 square foot. And that is more functional training and class driven. It's just been launched in the States and going very well. So we're going to be one of the first countries to be introducing it, right, Adam? Class. The second size is a core class, which is 8,000 square foot plus. So that includes the same as the class, the octagon, the matted area, you know, the sauna, the steam room, so on and so forth. And then the big daddy of them all, which is the signature, which is around about 25,000 square feet plus. We've been doing site visits with the American team this week and going around and looking at various facilities. We hope that one of the first two will be a signature gym, and that will be this year.
Yes.
Quick question for Joe and Michael. You know, you two have had a well-established working relationship over the years, but how does it feel to be embarking on a venture of this magnitude together?
Okay, so the question was, how does it feel for Joe and Mike to be working together on this program?
We've worked together in the past, but I mean, for a venture of this magnitude, how does it feel? Because this is a big deal.
I'll start that, Rob, and then I'll let Mike take the lead.
Joking, of course.
This whole conversation started when Mike spoke to Adam, and Mike, you know, it's well documented. Mike and I have worked together for many years within the combat sports sector. We literally had a discussion and said, if we didn't try to bring UFC Gym to the UK, we'd kick ourselves. The fact that we've tried, and 2 years later we're here. It's not just me and Mike. We've got a very big team and some great partners involved in this, with a lot of knowledge of the leisure industry. And the fact is that we tried, and today we're here. So today's the start, and then we'll roll out. And I think we both agreed that we would have kicked ourselves if it wasn't us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as Joe said, there is a huge team behind us. They're all here, present, and thank you all very much for your hard work that's resulted in us being here today. It all started, obviously, you know, I met Adam, found out more about UFC Gym, and I just thought it was a natural fit for the UK, and I really think there's a market for it there. And we sat down, obviously, Joe, as you said, we have a relationship, and we brought on some partners involved, and long story short, here we are today.
And who better than to have Mike as the front man, really, you know? Come on. No, serious, come on.
Any other questions in the room? Oh, yes, Sarah at the back there. Yeah.
So this is a question for Michael. So you joked about taking Zumba classes, but I'd like to ask, is there a real possibility that you yourself or any other UFC fighters might, for example, make guest appearances and perhaps lead a class, you know, like boxing, for example?
Absolutely, absolutely, 100%. As Adam spoke before, what's the point of having a UFC gym? Of course, you've got all the facilities, but it has to be authentic as well. So I will be here, and you know, obviously I'm English, and I live in America. I miss the UK dearly, so this is another reason why I wanted to be here. It gives me a reason to come out to the UK more. So I will be here working actively within the brand, taking classes, doing all that type of thing, traveling the country. As we said, the development schedule, you know, hopefully it's going to be over 100 gyms, so I'm going to be very busy, but I will be there. There will be other UFC talent, the ring girls, Carly Baker, and all the other people, they're going to be involved with this. So yes, we're going to have state-of-the-art, world-class fitness facilities, and also authentic UFC feel and fighters, etc., passing through.
Any more questions? Yes, sir.
Michael, you've got a gym, obviously in Southern California. How have you made sure that the martial arts techniques are not taught wrongly? Because like the reputation of cardio kickboxing and boxing is bad in this country.
Sure. Oh, really?
How do you balance that out in your gym in California?
Yeah, well, I mean, as Adam said, the level of coaching has to be correct, and there's a fighter called Razor Rob McCullough. He was the WEC champion, had over 100 Thai boxing fights, whatever. He kind of spearheads that sector, the kickboxing, etc. Mauricio Tinguina, as Adam said, he spearheads the jiu-jitsu. I take my son to his, it's not a UFC gym, he has his own studio. I take my son there because it's close to my house. But there's people that travel from all over the country to go and train with this guy. This guy literally is a legend within jiu-jitsu circles. So it isn't watered down. You know, it isn't like, you know, let's show the absolute basics. I go into my gym, I teach a few classes here and there. Obviously, I have a very busy schedule. But we have fantastic coaches, world-class coaches, and that's what we will have here. We're not trying to bring a watered-down Mickey Mouse version of mixed martial arts. But there will be, as we said, world-class mixed martial arts available to people that want to do it. There will be jiu-jitsu, there will be cardio-based elements of that, but also the fitness side of things will be state-of-the-art and all packaged in a very beautiful, trendy, happening, vibrant place. So, you know, Adam,
I'll add to that, yeah. So part of this, and part of running a great business is having a great value proposition and then having great operational process. And so it's all about how we manage, how we hire, how we recruit, how we train, and then how we manage the ongoing process to make sure that the classes are on point. And so certainly, there's always things that can happen, and listen, there's been things in Mike's club that he hasn't been thrilled about, and the first person he calls is me. And my job is to make sure it gets fixed. But that happens in every UFC gym around the world, is that we have an operational process designed to protect the integrity of what these disciplines are all about.
All right, we have time for a couple more questions. Yes, right at the back there. Your hand's up. Yeah.
Yeah, just a quick question in regards to the outreach. In regards to price point, where have you positioned yourselves? Obviously, on equipment, you're state of the art, so you're going to be up there with Virgins and the David Lloyds, etc. So price point is going to be key, especially bringing the kids in. How have you thought about that in relationship with communities could be a big one.
Yeah, so with 3 different models, you have 3 different pricing strategies. One of the price points will be where you can use a worldwide pass and go anywhere you want, anytime you want. When you look at our bigger facilities that Joe was talking about, that are over 25,000 square feet, you offer a fitness package with a lot of treadmills and a lot of cardio and a lot of group fitness classes and a lot of equipment. So it's more catered towards the fitness consumer. So your price point will be a little bit lower, but people that join on that package will not be able to participate in any of the classes. The classes are our wheelhouse. It's our brand identity. Our coaches and classes are what UFC Gym is about. We're not going to stand for swimming pools. We're going to stand for those coaches and classes. And so with those come a higher price point, right? You're looking at, in US dollars, around $100 per month as we price it in US. Joe and team are going to do an analysis in regards to how everybody prices in the market, and they're going to provide us their recommendation on what the price point should be here. But the signature, the high end will be around $100 a month. The core will be somewhere around 75.
England. We're in England.
We're going to be,
how many pounds?
We're going to be slightly lower than that, Adam. I mean, we're going to, you know, as the same as you in the States, you know, we're going to be between mid and high range. So we're going to sit in the middle right there.
All right, yes, another question?
Can I ask a quick question to Adam? Earlier you mentioned about giving back to the community as part of the philosophy of the UFC. How does that manifest itself? What does that look like? I mean, we've got a lot of community gyms and boxing clubs here that rely on sponsorship or the goodwill of the locals to actually keep them running. Is that something that you would look at to support?
I think we're open to everything, but let me just cite an example. So in the US, funding is getting cut a lot for public schools. And the first thing that gets cut is PE, physical education. Yeah, and so what UFC Gym has done in several of its locations is gone out and worked with the school districts, and they actually volunteer their time to go teach PE at the schools at no cost to the school. So it's an incredible outreach, it's an incredible opportunity. Obviously, there's a business intersection there that ends up working out, but in that spirit, we try to get involved in so many community events to participate and not only build the value of what UFC Gym's about, but also build the value of this incredible sport that we call MMA. It's so terrific and it's growing so aggressively, and the more people are learning and understanding it, the more success that everybody's going to have.
All right, anyone else got another question? Probably got time for more, or are we done? No, I think that's good. Okay, there is an opportunity for a photo call. So we will do that next. Also the possibility of one-on-one interviews as well if anybody is interested. But thank you very much for attending. I hope you've got a much clearer oversight now. You understand what the UFC Gym brand is about and how exciting it is coming here to the UK and Ireland. Thank you again for being here. We would like to welcome, if you would like to come take photos, you're more than welcome. Big fan. Thank you very much.
Also, I'd just like to add, guys, non-press, there's also some drinks and food upstairs in the river room from now onwards, okay? Thank you very much.